Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is a follow-up video by Anonymous, and this is Anonymous from the video I just did, The Narcissist Makes You Think That You Want To. And here's his follow-up. Hey, Ollie. After I sent this, I thought to myself, I should have made this a private video. I was driving and thought, uh-oh, and I was right. I owe it to myself, my son, and your viewers to give this update. I would first like to thank you and your viewers for their input. So much of the time there is always some blind spot that we all have faced with a problem. If the problem were so easily seen and remedied, we would not need to sound off to each other on these channels. In my haste to send a story to you, I failed to give the complete story. Communication is key, and without correct information, no one is able to give or receive proper feedback, and that's why I'm giving you a follow-up. Not just for me, but for others who are doing the best they can after being victimized by a narcissist, or in my case, narcissists. So as you know, my previous girlfriend had moved out several times over several years, and we were on the verge of having the last move-out session. Almost simultaneously, as you were posting the video, she was removing her belongings from the home. So I can say without a shadow of a doubt, that was the final time. Not going to take her back after this because, unlike the other times, I was the one that put my foot down and set some rules, and she could decide to behave in a normal manner or she could leave. She chooses to leave, as I knew she would. Again, the difference is that I initiated it this time, and the reason and difference is my son lives with me now, period. In the past, when my son did not live with us, I treated her leaving for several weeks at a time for her to visit her family and cool down. It did not pose a problem because only she and I lived together. But when I gained primary custody of my son, I expected her not to leave as she had before. And trust me, she is a far cry from the abuse I or my son suffered at the hands of the woman I was married to. It was like night and day. This woman did not come close to the kind of abuse that I and he suffered, and that's a big part of the problem. Even though she has issues, the comparison is apples to elephants. Anyway, she did return after the talk. The reason is, she and I had a very long talk about her role in the household. These talks went on for several days via Skype before I purchased her a plane ticket back to the States. She promised, and I believed. And to this day, I believe that she actually meant her promises, but with her personality, Simple is not able to live up to them. I don't believe her to be a narcissist because I've dealt with such abuse from women that her attitude problems don't come close. I must tell you, she was at every single court date, every single meeting with lawyers, every single therapy session, and anything else you can think during the divorce early on, and more importantly, during the change of custody battle. She helped in many ways, and even helping me paint my son's room when we moved. She even attended a dozen parenting classes set forth by the court, and again, that this is part of the problem. There are the things we look at when trying to make the right decisions. As a matter of fact, I don't believe I would have custody of my son now if it weren't for her. She was extremely helpful in this sense. So you can see my dilemma. Well, what was the dilemma? None of these excuses her silent treatment and running him down to me, though. It's very confusing when someone does such polar opposite behavior. Yeah, man. Look, you can do the right thing and still be toxic at the same time. One doesn't outweigh the other. Look, I understand she's done some good things for you. Toxic behavior is toxic behavior. It's the broken plate theory. It has been a little under a year since my son has been living with us, and I needed that time to assess because my concern is about making big changes when they're not needed. This is not good for anyone, much less kids. Remember, he did not live with us, so my recent actions with her and I believe are within reason. You can't ask people to compromise and expect them to change everything in 5 minutes. These things take time. However, it became apparent that she was not going to be the person she said she would be to my son. It's unfortunate, and I moved as quickly as I could to make a decision and to have that decision have the least amount of impact on my son, and to make any changes as smooth as possible. Now I would like to address some of the comments. Everyone sees the world through their own filter, and commenters are of no exception. I read that I was trying to have someone else raise my son. I was accused of thinking about getting laid and even called a cuck. I didn't see any of this. Come on, man, you know better than to get upset over comments. Let me ask you men who are divorced from narcissists if you have custody of your kids. No, I don't think many of you do. I've only seen a handful of men on these channels that had the means and the fire to go up against the narcissistic ex, the societal narc courts, toxic feminism, etc., and actually gain custody of their kids. This is true. I myself spent what most of you make in a year guaranteed, and was willing to go to the mat for this, for my son, for him, for his well-being. Listen here, it's not about getting laid or having someone else raise my son. If that was the case, I would have left him with his abusive mother and been out at the bars instead. As far as using the word cuck, I guarantee you in real life, off the internet, you wouldn't say that to my face. Moving on, I admit I am trying to bridge a gap. I have taken Ali's advice and cut as much communication I can with the narcs in my life. That's my whole fucking family. A lot of people I thought were my friends, and that leaves a parent with very little support. So yeah, I still don't see anything wrong with it considering someone else. I don't have any intention of moving another woman into my home anytime soon. That is a mistake, and one I won't make again. That's a given. With societal narcissism running amok through the United States and the West in general, it has made women here virtually unacceptable. There is a unicorn here and there, but they are rare to find. Typically, feminism has made garbage out of most of them, just like the garbage I was married to. So I won't be considering anything domestic ever again. I understand where you're coming from here. And as somebody who's with a Dominican, I mean, I get it. You know, I'm done messing with them Beckys. I mean, I get where you're coming from. And, you know, my advice, and I don't think you took my advice the wrong way at all, you know, my advice is, because how it was coming off on the first letter was you were just very concerned about, trying to bridge a gap, which you don't need to do. I think this is a great opportunity for you and your son to really fucking bond. It's a great age. 14, 14-year-old and his dad. Dude, you got a great opportunity right now. Great opportunity. With societal narcissism running amok through the United States and the West in general, it has made women here virtually unacceptable. Okay. I will give a brief paragraph about the women I might be interested in. I have known her family now for a substantial amount of time. And before there was any interest, my son and I have spent some time with this family. They are always so kind and nice to me and have such a high opinion of him, and it makes me feel good to see him accepted and watch him have a good time with them. My main friend of this family is an American, and he has been with his wife, her sister, for 8 or 9 years. So it's not like I found her on some website somewhere. And I need to mention she is in her upper 40s, and yes, age makes a difference. I would not let a 20-something even close to me for obvious reasons. This looks like a good option. I mean, with everyone gone, what the hell is the father supposed to do for birthdays, holidays, etc.? I'm not worried about me here. Another guarantee. I'd go MGTOW if I didn't want to be a good father and provider for my son. It would have been cheaper to leave him with his abusive mother. As you see, that was not going to happen on my watch. So I'm left with a very few options, and a profoundly sick society. For the meantime, however, as I stated, I'm not interested in having anyone move into my home with me and with my son and me. I'm not a fool. I've been burned so badly, I've had to wise up a bit. Also, I'm not keen on giving half of my shit to some woman that changes her mind. I'm leaving that all to him. I wanted to hear from you, Ollie, because I already knew some, not all, of what was going to be said, but I just wanted to hear from virtually my only YouTube Narc channel support. Reasonable suggestions without insults are greatly appreciated from any fathers that have custody of their kids who are cut off from virtually anybody you used to know. Saving our kids from narcs is no easy task. I would really like to hear what you have to say. By the way, no woman should ever tell a man how to be a good man or father. I'm not here to tell you how to be a good woman or mother. I'm not interested in that. If you want to keep it generic, fine, I'll have a listen. Other than that, keep it to yourself. By the way, one last thing. The key hitch that only one commenter, who happens to be female, I believe, had the best thing to say, and what she wrote rings true as a bell, and I didn't see it at all, was that now X was jealous of my son, so I thank her for that. I wasn't able to see it, but she spotted it. That was it in a nutshell. So goodbye to her, the ex-girlfriend. Hello to just us for a while, my son and myself, and we'll see who gets the keys this time. In due time, it might be no one, and that would be fine too. Thank you, Anonymous. The only thing I'm going to tell you here, man, is I think you're getting a little too worried about the comments. Okay, I understand why you cleared up some stuff, and I'm glad you did. And you're always welcome to. You know that. But you said it a little even later on to what I said. This is a great opportunity for you and your son to get to know each other. As far as the, I think you said she was Filipino. I know it's one of the Asian countries. The fact that you know her family, that you have friends who know her family, because my only concern and I have a lot of guys I talk to who fell into the Filipino trap. The whole family is wonderful, and really what it is, it's just family hoovering to get. But if it's a different situation, that's great. But again, as far as you and the ex-girlfriend, look, it just didn't work out. Most relationships, more than half of relationships, end up in divorce as it is. Okay, you got a 50-50 shot at best. At best. So not everything is like just this extreme failure either. It's a lot of trial and error in this. Focus on your son, which is what you're going to do. And you're right, you have accomplished more as far as fathers and being able to win in family court than most fathers have. Just don't get too upset about the commenters. Don't get trolls everywhere. And you should know that. You should know that as well as anybody. So, but I'm glad everything worked out. I'm glad she was able to move out amicably. Don't be surprised if you get another call in a couple weeks or months of how, I made a mistake and I'll change this time. No, she won't. No, she won't. She won't. They never do. They never do. Understand just, the relationship just didn't work out. She wasn't who she wanted to be. She couldn't be who she even wanted to be. And that's okay. At least she was honest with it. So, thank you for your update and for another contribution. I really appreciate it. I hope this helped. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, funded, and expanding, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, or even a political video, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.